Good evening. Can you hear me well? Yeah. Okay. So, dear respected Thay, dear Sangha, it's such a long time I haven't met you all. Today we celebrated Thay's continuation day. And we listen to our senior brother and sisters from the Root Temple today. I'm not sure that who have joined that activity that we had today. So every year we celebrate a continuation day. Yeah, it's just a right time that for us to think of Thay, to our teacher, feel his presence in us. If we want to share about him and his life, I don't think we have enough time. It's so much. And I'm sure that each of us, like Trish and many others, have experienced when you went to retreat with him in the past. And it's such a precious experience. And many of us, even though we have, he has so many disciples, but each of us have, different experiences. It's a different experience when we've been with him. So I would like to take this opportunity to recall, to remind, to remember our own precious memories about what we have learned from him. And the theme for today is a simple wish from our teacher. I think that for two different people, he has different wishes. So we just see what is the simplest wish that that from him. So I just would like Will to play for us a video that he played with the lotus petal. And you will see how lovely he is. Will, are you ready? Get his hand, his smile. He said, I do it mindfully. I should have a sound. Can you hear the sound? Can I hear the sound?
No, you didn't turn it on.
Oh, you should have. You should have.
Sorry,
the
no sound.
Yeah,
No sound?
we didn't hear the sound.
Oh, why? What happened? Can I play?
Okay.
Can I play it again?
Okay.
Okay. Sorry,
Brother, you try to maybe optimize the video. There's one option when you share screen. Below, there's one you need to click.
Yeah,
Optimize video.
I actually did that. So sorry. Give me a second. I'll try it again. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like he doing magic.
Mindfully.
Do you know that is his childhood game? You know, because in Hue they have, they have a lot of lotus flowers, and they do that. And whenever we offer a lotus flowers to him, he always did that. And everybody laughed, and he's so, at that moment, he's really sweet. He extremely sweet. And especially when he with children, with his disciples, especially the young baby monks and nuns, and with children, he's really sweet and funny. And you always find the the most wonderful and simple and loving answers from in a question answer with children. He looks really relaxed and really enjoy the question from children. And I'm sure that every one of us have that experience when you went to the retreat with him. And so maybe I would like later on, I would like to ask what is Trish, the most wonderful memories that you have with Thay. So whenever I think of him, I can feel his smile and his words and his action. How he treated us. It's really resonate into my blood, because the first impression that I had from him was a very simple monk in brown. That's all that I had in my mind before I came to France. And I just knew his name. and I had no idea about his life, about his, you know, how he was. But I just kept the image, his image in brown robe with me when I came to France. And you know, when we had the day of mindfulness, and during a time of chanting, I read the sutra that he translated from Chinese. And it was the first time that I really felt that I could understand the sutras, the Buddha's teaching, because what he translated is so Vietnamese, is so simple and so clear, and it's somehow it's not only from the sutra, it's also from his heart. You know, when the translator, when he did he did the work, he put his heart and his mind and you know, like all his practice into the words. So that is, I still remember that when I was chanting, I realized that this is my teacher. I realized this is my teacher, even that I had no idea about him. But I just read the translation, the sutra, and that time I was looking for a master also. So, but in Australia, I couldn't find one, the right one for me that I felt from my heart. So after that chanting, I knew that this is my teacher, and I found my teacher through his translation from the chanting, you know, because there's no when I went to the temple, it's only Chinese, Vietnamese, and even the Vietnamese, the translation is not very clear, you know, like it's not easy to understand. So this is my first impression about Thay, you know. This is how I found my teacher. And it's so I always told my sisters and my brothers that you're very lucky before you ordain, that you got to know about teaching, you got to know about Thay, and you got to know about Sangha. But for me, I had no idea. I had no idea, but I just realized that this is my teacher. That's it. And then 2 months later, I came to, you know, I drove all the way to France, New Hamlet. And then I told Sister Chen Kong that I want to be ordained. And because that time I have to escape from my parents, I mean, my family, because they did not allow me to go. So I escaped, I ran away. I ran away to find my true love. You know, some people say, oh, they say you ran away from, you know, from home because you love somebody. But it was true that I fell in love with the teaching. I fell in love with my teacher, even though I haven't met him at all. So somehow I told him later on, I told him that maybe I was your disciple in previous life, you know. And he told me that you should be ordained earlier. Don't play too much out there, you know. But I was only 26, but he told me that I played so much outside before I ordained. And And I wish that I told him that I wish that next life I love to be his disciple again. Maybe, this kind of wishes, that we meet again without knowing each other in advance, So we kind of, I really believe that we have a previous life connection. So that's why when I came to France, I felt in love with the way the sisters there living. Even at that time, it's really simple. In 1998, so it's really simple, not like right now. If everything is renovated and so very comfortable. But my time is not really. But I just felt like this is my home. And I had no expectation at all that, they should be like this, they should be like that, But I just like merging into the life there so easily. And somehow I believe that, when we, all of us, when we went to or study with the teacher, I believe that we have, we have a connection before. We felt like this is our teacher. There's his way of living surprises us so much. He made all the hamlets, the monastery is really comfortable and convenient. But for himself, many most venerables from Vietnam who travel from Vietnam to France, they could not imagine, or they cannot imagine, that the most venerable or the Zen master live in such condition. It's really simple, and even in his, this is secret, but in his hut there's a lot of mice. There's a lot of mice because they're hungry, so they came inside his hut. And for us, we say, oh, we have so many cats in New Hamlet, so we should bring some cats here. And they say, no, you should not take any cats here. I don't want any battle. I don't want violence in my heart. In my heart. So but he's really protect, keep things clean. So it's for me, this is my personal connection, how I really get to know Thay. And just like today, if you already listened to our senior brother and sister share about how they how was their connection with Thay in the first place, as he's really like when he's be with you, he's really be totally present with you, so I think that when we haven't listened to him a lot, but when you just observe him and look at his way of living, you fell in love right away, it's for me, this all memories that is really come into my heart, every cell of my body, and as I remember that there was a time that I went to Thay, his hut, and he asked me to practice walking meditation with him in the bamboo grove, and he expressed his presence for me by holding my hands, and sometimes, you know, when we walk, during the walking, he squeezed my hands gently, and he stopped for a few seconds. He looked at me and he smiled. Can you imagine? Only two of us in the bamboo grove, and he squeezed my hands gently and take a deep breath and look at me and smile. That is how he expressed his presence to his disciple. And I think that I will never forget this memory to the rest of my life. You know, I somehow when he with children, when he with his vulnerable fragile disciples like me in that time, he's really gentle. You know, he cannot be, you know, straightforward and tough. You know, we will die if he did that. Because he knew that we cannot handle that. So when we are around, he's very gentle. Yeah. But you know, like if we share a sweetest moment, that I believe that the most venerable monks and nuns from Vietnam could not imagine that, you know, they can Thầy serve tea to them. You know, in Vietnam, the most venerable monk never done that to any nuns or any monk who younger than him. But to Thay, he's very he's like that. He always make tea for us. He asked us to sit down. I'm sure that Trish can have a chance to do, you know, he did that. He offered tea to lay friends also, you know. He just sat at the tea table and he made tea for us. And you know what? He didn't talk much. He just make tea, chant, you know, mindfully, and hand it over to the teacup to us, and all of us just sit still and drink tea. And somehow in that moment we just he reminded us that just return to the present moment. That's why later one of the best mantra he always said that this is a happy moment. Yeah. So this for many years later, before we had meal with him, he asked one of the his attendant say a wonderful mantra before we eat. I say, dear, can you recite the mantra for us before we eat? And we always know that what kind of, you know, which mantra he wanted us to say. I say, dear Thay, dear brothers, dear sisters, this is a happy moment. And then he smiled and said, and invited us to eat with him. So I believe that this kind of moments that it strengthens our relationship between the teacher and the disciples. And it's not only he's not only transmitted to us about the Buddha's teaching, but he transmitted to us his life, his love, his wish, you know. He never he never say that, oh, I want you to do this. He never said that. But he said that, oh, I wish that we can do this. May we do this, you know. So he always give us a chance to think and a choice to do, you know. For us, it's when he, you know, this moment when he's like that, we never could refuse his wish. He's so lovely. That's why, you know, like all of us. First of all, we want to, you know, he share his wish with us in such a lovely way, and from deep down, from our heart, that we always wanted to make him happy, you know, because he loves us so much, and we loved him so much also. And I believe that he's the one of the teachers has many of his disciples who loved him the most. You know, it's not only monastics, but for lay people, for lay friends, also lay disciples, love him so much because he's so simple, you know. You know, this kind of memories and how I learned from him, and I you know, the quality, a good quality that he has, is somehow I really always keep it in my heart, you know. He tried his best, that, you know, to be a teacher and to be a father. And most of the time in the monastic days, he expressed himself as a father rather than a teacher, you know. He let us play the way we you know, we would like to do, you know. He never said, no, you should not do this. He never said that. He just let us play as much as we want and the way we want it, and he enjoyed it too. He joined in also. And sometimes he encouraged us to do that too. And he encouraged us to just be ourselves. So he knows that this kind of moments nourish our monastic life. So he knows, so he never stopped us to do, even it's very naughty on sometimes. But he's never stopped us. Just like a video, he's funny. He's the most funniest one. he never, to me, he's an inexhaustible spiritual teacher. You know, when when we had the day of mindfulness, a retreat, the time giving a Dharma talk, and it was in a platform, he gave a Dharma talk. His eye, his energy, you know, it's just really bright, and it's really energetic when he's speaking. And we thought, oh, Thay is very, you know, strong and healthy. But we didn't know that after the Dharma talk, because he sent out all of his energy. So after the Dharma talk, he fell, you know, he fell down on his bed and he breathed. He had to take a very deep and long breath and exhausted. But before, you know, when he gave a Dharma talk, we didn't know where the energy he got from when he giving the Dharma talk. He never felt tired when he gave a Dharma talk. But after the Dharma talk, he's really exhausted. But he told us that, do you know that when I give a Dharma talk to others, I felt very happy. I felt like I'm doing something that make others' life different. And this kind of things that he never stopped doing that. When he cannot handle when he sees somebody suffered without helping them. And even he was so, you know, after the Dharma talk, he also led the walking meditation. But after after a short resting, he came out and led the walking meditation with all his might, all his energy, his whole his being. And he said that he's really he cannot live without practicing walking meditation, because walking meditation is one of his favorite practice. So it's so that's why when as a disciples just observing him, we felt like we cannot stop practicing, because our teacher's like that. Even he's old and he's tired, but he's never felt exhausted before, you know, teaching other people and help to alleviate other people's suffering. And when he's in a walking meditation, the way he's holding a child's hand, when you look at it, you can feel that it's so gentle and lovely. And he said that, oh, he felt better because he can benefit from a child's fresh energy. But the child said that when he holding, when she's holding Thay's hand, she felt so peaceful. So that is all the children said that when they, that's why they love to hold his hands in walking meditation, because they feel so peaceful, So this, I think that in him is not only he just you can see the teaching through all his action, his moves, and his speech. And for me personally, that I never seen any most venerables, or the most venerable monks and nuns has the most beautiful 5 minutes, the way he walked and the way he sit, very eloquent, very majestic, even right now, his back's very straight, because the way he sits, it's just like he trained himself sit straight with his back straight all the time. Even he was reading, he was playing, he was drinking tea, his back always like that. So even now he's sick, but when he went out with his wheelchair, his back always very straight. And so this, and do you remember that in the day that the World Trade Tower from America or New York got the disaster, September 11th, yeah. That time he was in, I'm not sure that Trish was there or not, but he was, at that time he was in America, and he went to the church after the accident and the event, and he gave a very strong and very fearless speech to people there, to calm and to soothe people's suffering, because that time people so fearful and suffer so much. And I still remember after that US tour, he went home to France, and we had the day of mindfulness, and he gave a Dharma talk. And in that talk, he said that if I was scared, give a speech in that situation, I will not your teacher. I will not be your teacher, because people needed me there. And I'm not afraid. I'm not scared at all. And if I didn't do that, I'm not your teacher. So we felt so touched, Even the other side, his one side is really extremely sweet and gentle, but the other part of him, he's just like a hero. And I don't think that he never had fear or something, even in the Vietnam War. He went through so much hard time, so many hard time. And and he can, he could die anytime. He could die anytime, but he was not afraid. And even he went to when Vietnam allowed him to go back, and he wanted, convince the government to have different way of treat, like how to function, change the way of treating their citizen, or he gave us such a suggestions to the government, and he was not afraid that they will kick them out or not. He wanted whatever he wanted to support, to share what he wished for the Vietnam. So he just said, he didn't, somehow it is his contribution for his homeland. They receive it or not, he didn't care. But what he did, he wanted to do, he just did it. You know, that's his personality. And I before people, the big people there, he's really just like a big spiritual teacher. He's really a big spiritual teacher, a wise teacher ever. You know, he showed no fear. He showed no fear to any people who has the most power in Vietnam. So it's like that's his life, you know, and for me that want to be a little part, you know, like him, we have to do a lot, but we never can be like him. He's so great, he's so wise. So I told myself that, oh, can I just be a little part of, you know, just like one piece like you? That's enough for me in this life. But one day that he told me that, you know, I don't want you to do big things. What I wish that you can just be with the Sangha, to live in harmony with your brothers and sisters, and you can live happily with them. That's all I wish for you. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to do big things. You know, you just be with you can live happily with your brother and sister, and you know, and you can live harmonious with them, and be with them to, you know, as long as you wish. That's all I wish. That's all I want. You know, so that's why he all, you know, like us, we listen a lot about you know, in his Dharma talk about brotherhood and sisterhood. There's nothing more important like brotherhood and sisterhood. And that's why he, you know, like he really built up a very strong and lovely and deep connection, relationship between a teacher and disciples and students. And for us, he wants us to build a deep and relationship between brothers and sisters. And that's why he said that you should, you know, whatever happened, you should not leave the Sangha. You know, living in the big community with other people, having problems or a difficult time, that's very normal. That's very normal. So you should be patient try to understand your brothers and sisters more. Everybody has suffering, you know. So maybe you haven't understood their suffering yet. But you must understand your own suffering also. You know? So that's why in the 14 mindfulness training, there's a word that said, if you cannot understand your own suffering, you cannot help others. And this is, you know, like under it's just like my perspective, what I perceive as Thay from as a role of monastic disciple. You know, this is how you cannot learn or understand or know everything about his life or his vow. We just know a little bit, just so little. But his vow is so great. It's really great, you know. And so there's for me that I had a deep gratitude to him because the way he renewed the Buddha's teaching, so that I can understand. So if he didn't change or, you know, renew the teachings, many of us as young generation cannot understand and learn about the Dharma. And especially you know, he wants to renew the Buddha's teaching so he can apply it into the West, you know. So other, you know, in the West, the people in the West, they can understand much better. I remember if you came to New Hamlet or other hamlet in the early years, it is hardly to find a Buddha statue. If we have, it's just so little like this, you know, not a big Buddha, but a little. He said that we should not have a Buddha, a big Buddha statue, because the Westerners, they cannot used to it yet. They haven't used to it yet. So we make our center just like a practice center, the mindfulness practice center. Everybody can come and learn the teaching without any Buddhist tones. So he make everybody feel comfortable. So that's why many Westerners, when they come to Plum Village, they feel comfortable. And he said that, we should not build our center as a traditional temple. We just make things, it's just like a hall, a big hall, so everybody can practice meditation. That's enough, you know. So this kind of way of renewing the Buddha's teaching into a new society and a modern society, he must be very, you know, his vision is really broad and very deep, you know. So he tried to understand others' backgrounds and try to learn to put the practice into our, you know, in everybody daily lives in the simplest way. possible. So that's why when they came to practice with him, they feel easy, simple, and not very complicated. Because for us as a monastic, if I wanted to be ordained, I have to learn the mantra in, I don't know in what kind of language, but very long and hard to understand, hard to remember, actually, not understand. But you know what he said? You don't have to learn the mantra. We in Plum Village, we have mantras too, but very simple. I'm here for you. That's a mantra. You need to learn. Dear Mother, I'm here for you. And for the first time, when I learned that simple mantra, it's not the mantra. It's not something up here, but when we really feel the mantra in our heart, we can see that what we should do to our loved ones. We should do what we should do, that how to be present to our loved ones. You know, instead of you come to your loved one and say, oh, I'm here for you, but your mind not there. But he said, when you have to not only speaking the mantra, but you have to make your presence really real to your loved ones. You be present in a way that they can feel your whole being there. And he saved a lot of young people like me, you know, like can find the way or realize that this is my path, this is my life. That he shows us that you know, you can live a happy life without you know, having so much conditions, so many conditions. You don't have to have so many conditions to be happy. And you can transform your suffering also. Before I ordained, I see that, you know, life is not only got a job and got money, but to me, maybe my spiritual life calling me, or somehow I say that my life should be something else. You know, like I can find something else in my life more different than this life, you know, the way I live in. So I'm searching for a teacher, and I found him. So somehow he renewed the teaching, that it's just like catching young people who want to have a different way of living. So that's why many of us as monastics, we found our way of life, you know, way of living that we would like to live. And that's why we felt, you know, for me, I feel very grateful. Without him, I cannot be a nun. You know, maybe be somewhere else out there, have family. You know, and and there's one quote that he said that, you know, a Buddha is someone who is enlightened, capable of loving and forgiving. You know that at times you're like that, so enjoy being a Buddha. He said enjoying being a Buddha, because we can you know, we can have capacity to love and to forgive. And it just, you know, his definition of life, a happy life, is so simple. It's not like being Buddha. It's not like, oh, how can I be a Buddha? Oh, how can I be a happy person? By just following my breath. You know, to him, to be happy, it seems like so simple and easy. So it's just like our perception that, oh, you have to have a lot of things, or you have to feel satisfied in order to be happy. But to him, it's not, you know. It's just look at the blue sky and the white clouds, and that make him happy already. To be around with his disciples, that's make him happy already. And I say, can you breathe? I say, yes, dear. Yes, Thay. No, you should be happy. And there was a time that I was washing, you know, his the plates and the bowls, and he just asked me that, do you know that when you have a nice younger sisters, do you know that you are a very lucky elder sister? I said, yeah, when I have a nice younger sister, I should be a happy elder sister. So are you happy? You have many nice younger sisters. You know, sometimes he stopped and he asked us a question. And he said, do you have a nice elder sisters? I said, yes. So you should be happy, because to have a nice elder sisters and brothers, you know, as a younger sister, you should be happy. You know, sometimes he just stopped us and asked us such a question, you know. And he didn't say that, oh, you have to recognize the condition of, you know, happiness conditions in order to be happy. He just went through straight. He said, you have that condition, you should be happy. So that's why he, in his Dharma talk, he always said that you should make a list of all the conditions that make you happy, you know. And sometimes you just focus on your suffering only. You suffer because this person says sort of thing that you makes you suffer, but you didn't remember that you have so many conditions of happiness. You always forget that. You know, that's why when we are around, he always asks us, do you remember this? Do you remember that? And we knew that, you know, he reminded us that you're not the only one who suffered, and you're not you know, you're not a victim of your suffering. You should not be a victim of your suffering. You have many things. many other conditions that you should be happy with. And this is a, it's a present moment. So it's just like the song, breathing in and breathing out. So everybody just close your eyes and enjoy our breathing. The song, I have arrived, I'm home, and the song, breathing in, breathing out, that is never, is our kind of Dharma Plum Village. Is the most famous songs that we always sing. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as the flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as the mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there's space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free. Now, whenever you come to retreat, this is a song that we always sing. And one of our friend who came here, he said that Plum Village practice, you use a lot of imagination. Why you say that breathing in, breathing out, you see you're blooming as a flower. It's just you have to imagine you're a flower. You have to imagine you're a mountain to be solid. Or you have to imagine there's a lot of space in you. So I looked at him. I said that, the song that I wrote is for us to practice. Sometimes we don't know that we can be as fresh as a flower. It's just because you will always remember or just think of our suffering, our negativities only. So that's why we cannot as fresh as a flower. But just like by, following your in breath and your out breath, you can be fresh, by just remember and remind you that you have so many happiness conditions around you and within you. And this is how Thay taught us. You can be just, take an in breath and be still and take your breath, following your breathing. And you feel satisfied with your life. You can be as fresh as the flowers. You just, you should not underestimate your strength, your solidity. Sometimes you have strength to deal with your suffering. You can be as solid as a mountain. And if you practice compassion, your heart is as vast as the space. And you can include a lot of people, especially their mystics. So even it's just a simple song, but I know that this is Thay's favorite song because it's not easy to just look at the words. When we're singing, it's carrying the deep meaning with it. And you just can realize it by your own practice. It's just like a song, breathing in, I go back to the island within myself. So do you really have time to return to your own island? So this is a very deep practice. And I just really, I love to call Thay as a present moment teacher. He always asks us to return to the present moment. And sometimes we forget, we be carried away by our past so much. So he said that present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. It's just like he being present for a child next to him, totally present. By just, play with the lotus petals and do it mindfully, and then he pop on his head. And make everybody so happy, I just by a simple act. And just like breathing in, I calm my body and mind. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is my only moment. And because you're alive, everything is possible. It means that, his wish, his simple wish that before you can do everything, you have to be present. You have to return to the present moment. And he always, he say that You are me and I am you. Your mother is you and you are your mother. So that's why, you know, when you suffer, we cannot recognize that. It's just like, you know, he said that if you put your hands on your head, you can feel that hand is your mother's hand. And when you have to know that, you know, in your palms and your hands, it doesn't only belong to you. This body belongs to many generations. So just by put your arms around you, you can feel warm. It's just like many, you know, your blood, your spiritual ancestors embracing you with love and with wisdom and understanding. So you're not alone. So when you feel sad, you feel bad, put your hand, imagine that all the, you know, good, wonderful teachers and your loved ones be present in your hands, and you put in your heart and breathe, and they present with you. He said that look at your palm, you see your mother, you see your father. You know, as a young child, you get a fever. Your mom said, "Oh, put her hands on your head," and said, "Oh, my poor child," with you know, with love. But sometimes that we forget. We just think that, oh, nobody's there. So we not really feel that in our body there's a lot of, you know, a lot of conditions to be sufficient that we can have this body and mind. So that's why take care of yourself. Take a good care of yourself. It means that you take care of your family, your parents. And transform your suffering. It means that you can help your parents transform themselves also. So I think that he somehow, before he was a peace activist, he witnessed so much suffering. And then after 1975, and when communists took over, he saved people from the ocean when they escaped Vietnam. He saw so many people dying in the ocean also. So that's why he tried his best to save them. So it means that his love never stopped. Even now he's sick, but he never his you know, his presence that help us to feel at ease and feel love when we are around him. And there's a message, and there's someone we always feel like, for me, I still feel that he still has some wishes that he hasn't accomplished yet. You know? but there once somebody asked him that what does he wish for the next generation. So we can watch his answer, what he wished for the next generation. So we'll play that short video clip.
So please let me know if the sound is okay.
Based on your life, what is the core message that you would like to share with us, the next generation?
My generation has done many wrong things. And we have borrowed this planet from you, from the young people. And we have done a lot of harm to this planet. And now we wanted to give to you, but the planet is not what we desire to be. We are ashamed of that. We have destroyed to a very great extent this beautiful planet. And you are going to receive it with a lot of wounds, damage. And we are sorry. Our civilization is to borrow. We have borrowed too much from the planet. We have made use of too much. We have borrowed too much, and the planet is now not capable to continue. It cannot take it anymore. We have to borrow. We have borrowed too much from it. We have borrowed too much from our children, our grandchildren, because this planet belongs to them, to our children and their children. It means we have borrowed from our children and our grandchildren, and we don't know whether we can give it back, pay it back to you. So what I wish to say is that if the young people, they realize, they are aware of what is going on, they should wake up as soon as possible and take the responsibility in hands. And this cannot be done individually. We have to wake up together. And there will be a chance if we wake up together. I have said in the last few years that one Buddha is not enough. We should have a collective awakening, and the young people have to wake up. They cannot count on the older generation anymore. So what we do really need, many of us do not have a job. Some of us have a job, but we don't like the job. We want to have a better job with a better salary. So the need is always there. Even if we get what we want, we still have needs. And I have seen around myself, many people have many things they need. They have meals to eat, they have a house to live, they have a car to drive, they have a partner, they have a lover, and yet they continue to suffer very deeply. So it looks like even if we get what we need, we still suffer. There are those who are very wealthy, but they suffer very deeply. Those who are very famous, but they still suffer deeply. Those who are very powerful, and yet they suffer deeply. And every one of us needs something more than these things. We need love. We need understanding. Some peace inside. If you don't have peace inside, you cannot do anything to help other people. You cannot love even yourself. You need understanding, but peace and understanding and love. It seems that these things are very rare, and you cannot get them from the supermarket. They don't sell these kind of things. Peace, understanding, and compassion. So we are hungry. All of us are hungry. We are hungry of peace. We are hungry of understanding. We are hungry of love. In the teaching of the Buddha, to love means to offer, to be able to offer these things, to offer some peace, to offer some understanding and compassion. Because all of us need that. If you want to be a true lover, you should train yourself in order to listen. You listen to the suffering in yourself. Don't be afraid. Go home to yourself. Breathe in and out deeply and get in touch with your suffering. And try to ask the question, why is suffering? Where has it come from? Because your suffering may reflect the suffering of your father and mother, might reflect the suffering of your ancestors, might reflect the suffering of the planet. And your suffering contains the suffering of the people of your time also. So understanding your suffering is somehow to understand his or her suffering. So it's very important to have the courage to go back and recognize the suffering inside, not to cover up with consumption, music, electronic games and things like that. And if you need a brother or a sister in the practice can sit with you and help you with the energy so that you can go back and recognize the suffering inside and to hold it dearly like you hold a wounded cat, a wounded dog. That is what we need. Maybe that is the first thing we have to do, to have the courage to go home, to recognize and to hold the suffering inside and have a deep look. Understanding your own suffering will bring you relief and you bring liberation. And after you have understood your suffering, you feel light and you can help him or her to do the same. That is a very crucial in a relationship. That is true love.
So, dear Sangha, did you hear his wish for us? So his short message will end my sharing today. And, to really, when we listened to him, we felt a lot of love in his heart. Yeah. And can you feel his inspiration? It's, you know, for all of us, even now, it's still very strong. Yeah. So, do we still have time, or we run out of time, Will?
So you can go as long as you want, as far as I'm concerned. but yes, it's 9:23. We still have time, and yeah, we just have sharing the merits that Brother David will lead.
Okay, so I just I think that many of us here who have met Thay and experienced have a very wonderful memories with Thay, especially Trish. But I know that we have heard what he wished for us, and it's a lifetime career. It's a lifetime lifetime job. You know, it's not. It sounds easy. It sounds simple, but it's not. You know. So, but you're not alone. One Buddha is not enough. Why? So we can do it together. The song I like to sing, I have arrived, I'm home song. To see the, you know, to remind us that the happiness and the joy and what we're looking for is right here. You know, stop searching, seeking somewhere else, elsewhere, and we can go as a river. You know, so that's why he trained us so well that we need each other. We need each other. Because we're brothers and sisters. And for me personally, if somebody asks or offer me a big place to be my own place or my own temple, I will refuse right away. Because this is not, it's not my life. I have to be with my sisters and I have to be with my brothers. We wish that you know, on Thay's continuation days, I wish every one of us here never be tired in the practice. And you can harvest the fruit from the practice every moment. Because everything is available for us right now and right here. I have arrived. Please join with me. I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I am solid. I am free. I am solid. I am free. to this I dwell. In the all, to this I dwell. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. I am solid, I am free, I am solid, I am free. In the ultimate I drown. In the ultimate I drown. Thank you so much, everyone, to be here together tonight. And being honest that I never talk about Thay that much in many years, because in other occasions, as you know, that I have my senior brothers and sisters who have been closer to Thay than me. So this is tonight is the only and the first time that I talk about Thay with you a lot. And I wish that we find some time, everybody share your wonderful memories with Thay, so everybody can be nourished by your memories and what you have learned from him. So thank you so much.
And dear Sangha, I'm sure the fruits and the merits from our practice will be the best gift to Thay for his continuation day. So please come back to your breath and come back to this present moment, wonderful moment. Practicing the trainings, practicing the way of awareness, gives rise to benefits without limits. We vow to share the fruits with all beings. We vow to offer tribute to parents, teachers, friends, and numerous beings who give guidance and support along the path.